Tonight's episode of TWITS is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
And go. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Week 8 edition of TWITS. Joining us once again from his palatial estate in Brownwood, Texas. 3 luxury sleds in the driveway, Mr. Mike Paddock. How are you, sir?
Howdy, doing fine. How are things up north?
Doing good, doing good. I see you're supporting your Texas Rangers.
Yep, see if they can knock off the Cardinals, unlike the Brew Crew.
Yeah. Well, Cardinals suck. They got 2 shots at it. I hope they can close a deal there on one of them. Looks like they might have some crappy weather up at the old Bushmaster there.
Yeah, and then yeah. It always is, though. It's like 40 degrees up there by now, right? It's almost November.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Well, let's get right into the heat of the moment here. Little segment we like to call the Weekly Rewind. We'll take a look back at the action of week number 7. Matchup number 1 saw the Commish and Fred squaring off for the first time. The Commish with a 20-point win, 63-43, on the strength of Drew Brees' 21 points. Evan took on Thad, and I believe we have some beer change in hand on this one, Mikey. 49-14 is your final. Thad paced by Phillip Rivers and Evan by Mark Sanchez. Greg opens the can of whoop ass. Thanks to Arian Foster's 28 points, I believe, over the century mark, rushing and receiving, for an 84-34 win and a 12-pack. Kyle Orton pacing the way for Team Mickey with 14 points. Mike, you and Tim squared off in a very tight one. Both of you led by a couple of Saints in a 51-46 Boncherelli win. Sproles chipping in with 16 for you, and Hartley with 14 for Mr. Boncher. And another tight one, Tom squeaks by Wayne 62-58. Ben Roethlisberger with 16 points, matched by Marcus Colston, who had 16 points in that one. Of note there, Mike, 4 Saints on the individual scoring leaders. Out of the 10 spots, 4 of them were Saints this week. So
that's what happens when you put up 62.
Yeah, they kicked the shit out of the Colts there. So, all right. So that is the Weekly Rewind, Mike. What do we have coming up on tap in Week 8?
Your top game of the week pits Greg at 4-3 and 395 points against Tom, who's at 5-2 with 478, still leading the way in the league this year. All-time points, however, in Greg's favor at 1025 to 899. Pretty big split there for the number of games played, and he leads that all-time series 18-11, winning 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, you know, that's for Tom. I think that's Packers Vikings week and Packers Bears week all rolled up into one. That's whole week for Tom. So
whole week starts today.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we got your team there. I'll leave everyone else to go ahead and read the new team name of yours. I don't want to get caught on video saying that.
Hey, I'm not Chris Cook up here, all right? You know, it's from basketball.
I know what it's from. I just don't want to be on audio or video saying that, just in case something happens later.
Mm-hmm.
So the Commish coming back at 5-2, looking pretty good at 402 points against Mickey, and that happens to be his spouse. So you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I tell you what'll happen. I'll get my ass kicked if recent history is any indication.
Correct.
And if having all your players on bye and or on injured reserve is any indication, so
that doesn't help.
No, it definitely does not.
So Mickey's sitting at 3-4 with 390 points and leads at all-time points 1190 to 1086, and the series 19-12, winning the last 5 in a row. What do you know?
Yeah, it's been a fun couple of years.
Does she just tell you who to bench that week so she can win, or I don't get it?
No, trust me, it's it's not intentional that she's got a 5-game winning streak.
And even after a 14-point outburst, Thad, I still have the reverse record of him at 5-2, 327 points. I am 2-5 with 412. I do lead the all-time points 650 to 549, so I got 101 on him there. And the series 10-4, winning the last 6 to get to that point. So hopefully I can get off the schneid. That was my fault. I don't know how to use a website. I don't know how to use Free Agent Friday. Otherwise, I would have won.
I love how you went right. You went right to what every user does, though. You know, it's got to be a system error. We got to check it out because something's wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like doors. Which, by the way, Mike, this will mean nothing to anyone out there in TWITS land, so I'll just make it brief. But Doors US is no longer. So we're going to have an RIP party for that.
Nice. Made a good run.
Mm-hmm.
We got Wayne and Tim matchup here. Wayne at 4-3 and 417 points against Tim 2-5 at 361. Wayne's leading that all-time points 1288 to 1229, so it's fairly close. And the all-time series is 20-17 in Wayne's favor. He won 2 of the last 3 to get to that, so they're tied not too long to go.
Yes, I believe that is one of your all-time most frequent SFFL matchups. They've matched up, 37 times in 15 years, so that's pushing the envelope there.
Nice. And Fred continues his tour, his new tour of the league at 3-4, 372 points, going up against Evan, who's at 2-5, 293. No data on that one yet. We shall see what happens.
So a tour stop in Evansville this week for Fred.
So
enjoy. All right. Well, thanks for that, Mike. Let's take a look real quick at record setters, Mike. Record set back in week 7. And a couple of notes. Greg, number 2 all-time running back, single running back points with 28 from Mr. Foster. He also set the number 3 all-time combined running back points at 42. All the SFFL owners chipped in for the 5th most quarterback points all-time. With, I think that was 127, yes. Greg cracks the top 10 on most points in a week with 84. That comes in at 8th best all-time. All owners combined for 90 PK points. That's good for 8th all-time. And last but not least, you don't see a lot of this category popping up in the record section, but largest margin of victory, 50. That's good for 10th spot. Greg 84, Mickey 34.
That's dang near a case.
It's darn close to a case, 10 short. So that is record setters for the week that was. Premium password, Mike, for week 8, which is current week. Password is treat, all lowercase. Starting in week 9, so starting next Tuesday, you'll be able to unlock premium content with the password of MASH, which could be, Halloween Monster Mash, or it could be MASH, as in Alan Alda and BJ there, representing my fantasy squad, which took a number of trips to the IR. So however you want to look at it.
Triage.
Yeah, triage. Yeah, that's what it should have been. Good call. Should have you come up with the passwords. So that'll get you in for premium content, Mike, and I highly recommend. I'm hoping people out there are taking a few minutes to look at this each week. I'm hoping, it takes us longer to do this and put it all together than it does people to watch. So I'm hoping that people are taking the time, because things like the bi-week planner and stuff are some really cool tools that I use a lot, and I think people get some value out of. So hopefully we got some YouTube viewers.
You mean I'm not getting paid for this? I thought I was getting paid.
Well, we'll see. Mike, little segment we like to call Chalk Talk.
Hey, wait a minute. Premium password is brought to me by something.
Oh, it is. Yeah, why don't you lead off tonight? What do you got going there?
We are sponsored by Dundee. I got a pale ale cooking today. It's enjoyably hoppy, as it says on there with the little frog.
Oh.
It's good stuff. Dundee, I believe it's out of somewhere out east. Yeah, Rochester, New York.
Well, given the unstable climate with our main sponsor, Coors Light, I'm going back-to-back weeks with Coors Light, so hope everything kind of simmers down there on that front. So, Mike, let's look at Chalk Talk. Last week took a bit of a loss, a surprise loss, our first loss of the year. The Purdue Boilermakers jump out to a 21-0 lead and hold on to beat Illinois 21-14. Illinois does not get the win.
I did not see that coming.
No, I don't think Illinois did either. So 5-1 on the year. This week, Mike, though, we are in big-time bounce-back mode. So recoup your losses, double your bets on a little team I like to call Bowling Green. The Falcons this week, Mike, are taking on Kent State on the road, which no big deal. Kent State, a god-awful team. Bowling Green can put up some offensive points in a hurry. Bowling Green only laying 5.5 against arguably one of the 10 worst teams in college football. I will take them laying the 5.5, and we'll get everyone back on the winning track. Dog of the week continues to roll up. Ties the commish at 5-1 with a big win on the Houston Texans last week, Mike. That one was never in doubt. I can't remember the final, but it was something along the lines of 34-3 or something like that, or 40-3.
Yeah, I didn't see that butt kicking, but I did know they would win.
Yeah. So once again, Mike, you don't need the points. Straight out cover on that one. What do we have on tap for Week 8?
I'm gonna turn right around. Houston is now getting 9.5 against Jacksonville. 9.5 is a pretty big number. All the other games are kind of shaky to me, so...
You mean Houston's giving 9.5, right?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Giving 9.5 to Jacksonville.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, take Jacksonville, take those points. Jacksonville put up a hell of a fight. I think they're finally getting around to a couple things and learning how to run that offense under the rookie Gabbert. And look for them to keep it close. They probably won't win it, but they'll take that 9.5 and they'll cover.
All right, Jags plus 9.5. So there you have your money makers for the week. Mike, game of the week this week. You pulled it within a game of the commish with the Chicago win over Tampa last week to move you to 4-2. Commish takes his first loss at 5-1. This week, Mike, we're going to go to the confluence of the Ohio, Monongahela, and Allegheny Rivers, more commonly known as Three Rivers Stadium, Mike, or Heinz Field, and take a look at New England and Pittsburgh. Who do you like in that one?
Well, Pittsburgh's defense is a little banged up. I got to give it to Tom Brady and New England to go in there and pull out a win. It might not be pretty. It might not be by much, but I'll take New England.
Well, I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with you, Mike, on that one. I think Tom Brady and the crew, as bad as their pass defense is, I think it's actually going to be a shootout, and I'm probably going to have 3 fantasy players in that game, so I'm really hoping it is. I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair, and when it gets right down to brass tacks, as good as Roethlisberger played last week, I think you give me a high-scoring shootout, and I will take Tom Brady in that one every time, regardless of the stadium. So I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you and take New England. So I will protect my 1-game lead.
Nice.
All right, Mike. Well, that should just about do it for the Week 8 edition of TWITS. Packers on a bye coming up. Vikings heading off to Carolina. It's the Ponder versus Cam Newton Bowl there. And a couple more teams, I believe 6 more teams on a bye this week. So everyone get your lineup set properly. I will be checking the free agents momentarily to see what's going on there. So those will be done tonight, and then another good weekend of Shuffle action coming up. So we will talk with everyone next week for the Week 9 edition of TWITS.
Adios.
Adios.